There we go. Okay. I'd like to welcome everybody to the July 3rd, 2024 changeover meeting. Lots going to happen. It's a historical day for Toronto, Eglinton, as it happens every year. I'd like to call. I don't have. Arthur's got the numbers. Do we have numbers? Arthur, what do we have? How many people here? 22. 22. 22, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 on Zoom. So we have 30 people here today for the changeover meeting. I'm going to call upon Chad. We have no birthdays coming up, but I'm going to call upon Chad to do our reflection for today. Thanks, David. I'll miss thanking you for these. So life is unpredictable, and in the world of AI, perhaps it's likely to become more unpredictable. So it's natural to feel a bit apprehensive about what lies ahead, but it's important not to let worry consume us. Instead of fretting over things beyond our control, let's focus on what we can actually influence. Let's pour energy into the present moment, into the tasks and relationships that matter. After all, the future is shaped by actions we take today. So let's embrace the uncertainty with a sense of adventure, knowing that whatever comes our way, we have hopefully the strength and resilience to face that. Let's not waste precious time worrying about the future, but rather living in the now, making the most of our opportunities that come our way. Let's focus on what we can control and leave the rest to the universe. Together, we can create a brighter future, one filled with hope, compassion, and a sense of purpose. Thank you, Chad. Okay, let's move on to Happy Bucks. So do we have any Happy Bucks in the room today? We've got Tom. Oh, we forgot to bring the container up. My bad.
I just want to say to David, happy trails.
Happy golf.
It, but you guys don't deserve it. You have been an unbelievable leader for us the last couple of years. And I have enjoyed working with you and for you throughout the whole time. And I got $5 to say thank you.
Much appreciated. Thank you, Tom. Thank you very much.
Yeah, but
And I want to stay that way. Thank you, Tom. Anyone else? Anyone on Zoom? Arthur, you had a 5. Arthur had 5 Happy Bucks because we didn't have change for them. Oh. You want to say it?
Sure. Sayonara, David. It's been great.
Yeah. And you're happy that you're taking over the presidency. Yes. Okay. Ron, did you have something you want to say? You're muted, so I couldn't tell. Yeah, you're not coming up. Okay. Sorry. Okay, and with that, we can move on to the official part of the program. I tried not to have too much to say this year because I did say it all last year. So I'm going to try and keep it pretty quick before we induct our next president of the club. So as I look back at my last 6 months as president of the Rotary Toronto Eglinton Club, I want to thank all of the membership for their support as we had to make a quick pivot in January. I personally want to thank Dawn Smith for leading the club for the first 6 months of this year. She faced a lot of challenges during that time, which impacted her health, and I completely understand her decision to step down. Dawn is a great Rotarian, and we are sad to see her leave the club. She's currently looking at her options, and who knows? She may want to come back to the club at some point. I know other people have, like Arthur. I know we welcome her with open arms. I'm glad I was able to keep the club moving in a forward direction during the last 6 months and want to thank you for the recognition for my efforts with the Paul Harris Fellow. It really means the world to me. I also want to thank Arthur for stepping up to take on the role as president for this year. It was a relief to know that I would not be doing this again for another year. I think it's time for a change. I also want to thank the leadership team, Stephen Bianco, Nan Campion, Lars Henriksen, Lionel Lavoie, Josepha Michelson, Jim Moore, Arthur Parks, Jackie Scroggie, Laura Wanat, and Lisa Whitwell for all their help and support. It was nice to know that when I stepped into the president's role, I had the support
of the board and the committees to continue with all the good work we do locally and internationally. The energy and passion put forth by all of these individuals shows that what someone with the four-way test in mind can accomplish. I think they all deserve a round of applause. I also want to single out both Jim and Josepha for their efforts as they step down from their roles this year and allow new members to take on leadership roles. That is a sign that we have a strong, thriving club. I also want to thank Lars for his very important role as champion of the bingo group, which helped us raise over $80,000 for our local initiatives with the youth and community partners. Ultimately, I think we've made a real impact as Rotarians this past year, and that is all thanks to you, the members. Keep up the great work and lead by example using our four-way test as your guide. Thank you. Okay, out with the old, in with the new. So Arthur, do you want to come up? I just want to introduce you. So
Now, what about,
there's no handing of a pin because I'm already the past president, so I don't get a past president's pin. Already you're wearing it. No, I don't give myself another past president's pin. So we move on. So today is a very important day in the history of Rotary Toronto Eglinton. As the current president of the club, it is my pleasure to hand over the leadership to Arthur Parks, become the president of our club for the 24-25 Rotary year. I want to give you a little background about Arthur. He was born in Toronto in 1948, and he spent most of his life here, but his heritage comes from Europe, specifically Holland and Ireland. And I think the other Maria has very much seen the influence he's been giving on the whole Holland and such piece to her. If you were here for his classification talk, you would have known that he spent most of his primary years here at local schools in Toronto and very close to our club, but attended Ridley College and St. Catharines for high school. He attended and graduated from Ryerson Polytechnical Institute, now Toronto Metropolitan University. But family is the most important thing to Arthur, I think, from what I can tell so far. And he has been married to Mary for over 52 years now, and he has 2 children and 2 grandchildren. Arthur's career is varied, and he has been a part of many different industries, too many to list here, but he's been in the real estate business for over the last 37 years. And you just joined a new firm, right?
I just joined a firm again, Julie and Mary's firm of Johnson Daniels.
As many of you know, Arthur has been a Rotarian on and off for the last 15 years and was even a member of this club during his Rotary life. Arthur's next role as president of Rotary Toronto Eglinton for the 24-25 Rotary year will be one filled with his unique sense of humor, as well as his passion for ensuring the life of a Rotarian in our club is filled with fellowship, member recognition, and a whole lot of fun. As I hand over the reins, I know I'm ensuring that RTE will live on in its best form in the hands of our new president, Arthur Parks.
Thank you.
Congratulations. And with that, I get to hand you the president's pin. These are magnetic pins, so you can wear that.
Oh, gosh.
You can't put that on your name tag because you can't pin it. But anyway.
I'll put it on.
Yes, congratulations.
Thank you,
And I hand
sir.
the reins over to you. Now I get to sit out here.
It was actually 7 months ago today that I attended a meeting at this club just to see what it was like again, because I'd been a member before, and Lars suggested come right after Christmas. So I did, and it was like old home week. There was a ton of, I was sitting next to Ron Denham, for God's sake, but there was a ton of people that said, welcome back and all this kind of business, and it felt like I was part of the club. And Don happened to mention that we didn't have a future president for the club for this year. Anyway, nature struck and I had to go, so I put my hand up to go to the bathroom, and before I knew it, I was the president. But David pulled some strings and got me into the club in very short order, in order that it would be sufficient time that I could become president. So I'm very proud that I am the president, and I feel sorry for all those other people that wanted to be, but but didn't make it. At any rate, before I get into talking about what I might be doing this coming year, I'm going to change things around a bit, because I know there are a number of people that want to say a few things that are coming up, such as the golf tournament, but I won't mention any of those yet. But Nan had given me a couple of things that she wanted to talk about. And so I'm just going to read to you a couple of things that Nan had because she couldn't be here today. Pardon?
No.
Oh, okay.
We're good.
Yeah, the hand language and looking at me gives, you know. So the first of all involves, we will be doing our tree planting this year on Sunday, September the 8th. It will be the same place as last year. I understand that you couldn't get through the ground. It was pretty tough. And last year's tree planting. Just south of Moore on the Bayview extension, I've asked for Don't Mess with the Dawn to give us an area that is easier to dig this year. And they assure me that they will do that. We'll be planting from about 10 to 12 or 12:30ish. And we plan to get together for lunch at the pub on Laird, as we did with the cleanup. So please have everyone email me if you're planning on to come and if they are staying for lunch. I will give the exact address in future messages. If Glenn is at the meeting, he can probably tell everyone exactly where it is, as he was there last year. Okay. Anyway, the second thing from Nan, the Environment Committee and the club have agreed to make a financial donation to a project of the Uxbridge Rotary Club. They are planning a mini forest in the fields of Uxbridge, which will be about the size of a tennis court. We have been invited to join them in their hard work. It is to be held on July the 6th. That is Saturday, I believe. Starting at 9 a.m. Parking is at 721 Bell Road, Uxbridge. On this day, they are preparing the soil for planting in a few months. They will be putting down cardboard, spreading compost and mulch. We will not be going as a group, but if anyone is interested in joining them, feel free to contact me. Okay, and that was from Nan. Now, I think, Tom, you wanted to say something, did you, on, did you have something to say? No, okay. The next person I wanted to ask was about, oh, I know, I thought there was something to do with trails that you wanted to talk about, but maybe not.
Well, no, I went up last week and.
Yeah, you did your
we
bit.
kicked off the leaders in training.
You don't talk at the microphone, so people on Zoom can hear you. Please.
Yeah, I had two people moving furniture at my place and I lost all my bills, so I can't donate. So I didn't say, it wasn't part of my good thing. So last week I drove up to Trails and their new leaders in training for next year had been picked and we kicked them off. They were gonna leave that night and go up to Sudbury and spend a week and a bit out in the wilderness, and they bond and they learn what leadership is all about. But these are kids that have gone through 4 years of the program. They believe in Rotary. The speech before I got up to give them t-shirts was well received by everybody. And I want to again thank all of you guys for all the help you've given me in trying to give support to the Trails people.
Tom, before you leave, there's one other thing you were talking about, and that was Vancelot. The registration is now open for October the 17th.
Yeah, okay, well, they have a fundraising event called Vancelot, and it's blues down at Massey Hall. And a few of us went, like Stephen was there, Ray, you were there last year. And they bring in 3 bands from the United States. There's nice appetizers and drink, and the bands play. And this is the way to get a ticket is just make a donation to Trails. I will send out more information on that as we get closer.
Thank you very much. Lionel, did you have anything to say about youth?
Yeah, am I up for youth right now, or?
Sure,
Oh, okay.
I'm doing it in a different order.
Okay, that's good. I will comply. Yeah. So, yeah, this is the Youth and Vocational Committee update for July the 3rd. Short report is all our planned projects have been completed the past year. That said, two charities that were introduced to us in April and May require further definition for the current year, namely, and I've brought these up before at other meetings, Capitalize for Kids, which is an organization that supports youth mental health programs. And the other one is the Merit Award Bursary Program, which is being offered to high school students from low-income neighborhoods in the GTA as an incentive to continue with their post-secondary education. And potentially a new charity called Diabetes Camp. I mentioned this once before. An organization which creates a camping experience where youth with diabetes lives are effectively transformed, relationships enhanced. This would be under review as well as we come into the new year. On the financial side, since the main source of funding for our youth projects, namely bingo, will be potentially cut back 50% in 24-25 for various reasons. Programs that we've traditionally supported, such as Trails Youth Initiatives and Project Give Back, will take precedence over newer recent charities we've been involved with in the past year, as far as competing for available funds, if that does arise. We may have available funds, okay, to cover everything, although with the cutbacks we're looking at, and unless we find another source of revenue to support our programs, each new project outside of Trails and Give Back is going to be carefully assessed on its own merits and its ability to meet our qualifications before we start handing out money. But Covenant House, okay, and certainly a Variety Village, we certainly desire attention, and we'll review that as well. So we have a balance brought back forward from last year in our operations from bingo, approximately $15,000. More official amount will be declared as we get the budget from Lisa. And our expected cash flow next year with the cutbacks is around $20,000, leaves us with about $35,000 to work with during 24-25. That's a substantial reduction over what we were able to work with this year. So that's about it. Nothing more to report. I think it's going to be kind of quiet in the summertime with people away on vacation and whatnot. But the 2 or 3 charities I mentioned before, we're going to get fully underway, hopefully in August, September. And really, that's about all there is to say about the Youth and Vocational Services Committee update for today. Thank you.
Thanks, Lionel. Was there any other business that people wanted to talk about specifically? Pardon?
Just the golf tournament.
The golf tournament, yes, okay. And who's going to speak on the golf tournament?
Bill, do you want me to, or you want to do it on via Zoom?
I'm stuck at home with a cold. I would like to do this in person. And David, I think you're going to do it because you're there. Next time I'm there in person, maybe in 2 weeks, I will say more.
Okay, I'll do it. Not a problem. And I was in such a rush to leave the podium as past president. I forgot to do 2 things before I gave up or relinquished my duties. So 2 things. First off, I want to call Jim up because you weren't here when we presented this to you. And I said I would carry it until I saw you next, and I'm seeing you now. So this is for his Service Above Self Award. He wasn't here on the 19th of June, so I wanted to recognize him in person.
Can you like each other? Closer. And one more. Got it.
Perfect. Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay, and the other thing that I wanted to talk to very quickly was I went to the changeover meeting, the district changeover meeting back on the 20th of June. And I'm glad I was there because I was very surprised. We actually did win an award for this past year from Rotary International District 7070, the Rotary Foundation Trophy Certificate for 25 to 50 members. And this is awarded to the 3 clubs that have the highest per capita contribution to the Rotary Foundation programs for the year. Each one of the following 3 categories. And we were in, it was 0 to 25 members, 25 to 30, and over 50 members. So we got recognized for that 25 to 50 members. So we as a Rotary Club gave more money than any other club in the district of our size. So okay, thanks. Okay, and now let's talk about the golf tournament. So on your table in front of you, maybe this table doesn't, but I'll give you these. You should have 2 forms. One is the golf tournament, talking about it itself. Basically, it happens on Tuesday, September 17th. We are partnering with the Rotary Clubs of Toronto East, East York, and the Toronto Club, which is a new addition. So 4 clubs are going to be participating in this, which is really a great thing to show the power of Rotary. It is at the Richmond Hill Golf Club. It is a morning start. So breakfast starts, check-in and breakfast at 7:30. It's a shotgun tee-off at 8:30, and there'll be lunch, awards, and a silent auction after the fact, whenever the game finishes up. It is $225 per player and then $900 per foursome. And the way it's going to work is that each club is doing their own registration. So when you register as a Rotary Toronto Eglinton Club member. And if you have any guests and such, they will all contribute towards that. Any money we raise above and beyond the cost of the actual event will go towards our charity of choice, which is Trails this year. We are supporting Trails. Any money we take in as a sponsorship, and I know we've got some sponsorships already in place for some whole sponsorships. Any sponsors we take in, we get the full return on that. And any money we get from donations is also coming directly back to us. So we will make most of our money through sponsorships and donations. We don't make a lot of money off of the registration. So there are no tax receipts for the golfing itself, but there will be tax receipts for any donations or sponsorships that you do. Okay, so we are looking for, if you have the flyer and you want to take it home, you can either QR code that and it'll take you right to the registration site, or you can go on the Rotary Toronto Eglinton's website. If you click through on this flyer, you also got it from me directly in electronic form. I encourage you to send that out to your friends and family because that will allow them to click through to register a foursome. We are also looking for volunteers. I know that Anna was looking to volunteer. So if you want to sponsor, donate, or volunteer, you need to reach out to Bill Martin, who's on here. He's our champion for this project. And we're looking forward to having a great day that day. We're looking between 7 and 10. I know Tom's working with Trails as well as himself. I'm trying to put a foursome together. Steven's putting a foursome. Lionel's going to try and put a foursome together. We're working on that on him. And so hopefully we'll have between 7 and 10 foursomes for the actual event, which should be great. Bill, have I covered everything?
Pretty well, David. Just one thing on the donations, whole sponsorships and other sponsorships. If you're a business, you do not get a tax receipt.
Correct.
It's treated as a business expense.
Yes.
I've been preparing a mail out and I use yours. Now, when it says click here to sign, if my friends sign there, we get credit for theirs?
Yes. Yes.
It doesn't go just to the golf course and register.
No, it comes directly to our website. So in our website under our events on Rotary Toronto Eglinton, there is a page that is a landing page for this. That's where we're going to take them, and it registers on us, and we will get payment. It comes into our bank account. I get notification, so does Bill, that we have a registration. But just so you know, we can only take a registration per foursome. So if you want to sign up individually and you don't have a foursome and you want to play, reach out to Bill directly, and he will work with you to build out a foursome. Because there may be other people like you that don't have a foursome and they want to play. So he will help you build that foursome out.
You gotta add that to the.
Okay, we can do that. We've been talking about this. Should we have a single registration? But Bill wants to keep it simple so we can have foursomes and that's it. But yes, if you're going to email it out to anybody, you can add that to your email. You're personalizing it. Anything else, Bill?
No, that sounds great, David. Thank you. There'll be more to come, but we have a meeting of the committee on July 17th. And I'll have a better idea where things are at.
Yeah, and I didn't mention, but there is also a second sheet on the table that is all the sponsorship opportunities. And as of right now, I think everything's available unless we tell you otherwise. Bill will find out exactly on the 17th what's been taken and what hasn't, but whole sponsorships, we'll take as many as we can get on whole sponsorships. Okay, thank you, Arthur.
One event that's coming up is going to take place at my cottage, and it's the second Wednesday of August, and it'll take place the place of the Rotary meeting. So we are going. I actually invited Virginia, our district governor, to see if she would come. I haven't heard back yet, but if you think you could make it, please get back to me and tell me. As well, if you know you can't make it, tell me as well. But it'll be important to get numbers. Now, I could arrange a bus, and it probably costs about $100 a piece. There's some people that are going to drive and will be able to take passengers with them. And there'll be some people that will drive that won't take passengers. As well, some people might want to stay overnight, and we could arrange accommodation in Lakefield, which is 15 minutes away. It should be a fun afternoon, and I would say weather permitting. If we're going to have nasty weather, then I'll probably cancel and we'll go to a Zoom meeting instead. But provided the weather's nice, then I hope most of you can come. Now I hope all of you can't come with your spouses, because that would be over 100 people, and that would be too much for the cottage. But at any rate, I hope that you can come. Now, yes, Ron.
President Albert, how many do you need committed to going by bus before you could justify organizing a bus?
Well, it could be 12.
Oh, let's do that.
It could be 35. There's a number of different things that could be arranged as far as the size of buses. And I would, of course, not arrange a bus until I know how many people might want to take the bus. But I think it's a good way of doing it. And I've indicated that we're planning on having, and Julian will verify that Korth ice cream is amazing. But we're going to have on the barbecue hamburgers and hot dogs, a variety of salads, and we'll have my wife's famous chocolate chip cookies, and we'll have the Korth ice cream, but non-alcoholic drinks. Just because I think it's not advisable to be traveling if you've been drinking. I will drink, of course. But at any rate, that's the plan, and maybe this could become an annual event. Moving on from this, is there anybody else that wanted to mention? Yes, sir.
You want to come up there?
Please do.
I guess some of you know about the PACT program. This is the urban gardening, and at John Polanyi School. I got a call this morning from David Lockett there. They're holding kind of an event next Thursday. I think it'd be 11th in the evening at 6, just to recognize all the Rotarians who've been helping them. So they'll be serving a meal, no cost. So just put it in your calendars. And he was going to send a flyer for that. And I said, I gave him Arthur's email as well, but if you don't get it, I'll forward that to you. So just so that it's Thursday, July the 11th.
Thank you, Gilliman. Anybody else that wants to mention anything? No. Well, I'll start talking about what I have planned for this coming year. Basically, we're going to change everything. No, the club seems to be running particularly well. And so I'm not looking at making any changes over the summer, and maybe sliding in a few things. Now, I have phoned a lot of people. I'm going to continue phoning to get ideas from people on what they might like to see changed and improved and so on. And then I'll address this with a an email to everybody, just giving you all these ideas and looking for feedback. And then maybe we can slide some changes in that might help the club. So I'm not looking at being a maintaining president. I'm looking at being an improving president, but I'm not dealing with a disaster to take over. And David said when he spoke to me about, I guess it was January the 4th, about taking over the presidency, you've got a very strong club and you've got some very strong committee chairs. And I'm so happy that Bill has offered to become one of our chairs, and also Januzzi as well. I think we do have a very strong club, and we've got a lot of depth in the club. I was sitting down with the pod chairs talking about everybody and their different roles and so on. You might notice that Chad really stretched himself thin today because he didn't get anybody to take on the roles, and so he was the man for all of them. But at any rate, normally the pods would delegate to the different people in their pods to take on different parts of the meeting, and I would ask that everybody participate. It's only fair, and everybody's a member of the pod. I think it's an excellent idea. We didn't used to have that, but I think the pod idea is a great idea. So simply put, I'm looking at more or less maintaining what we have and improving. David has left me with documents galore on how everything is run and who does what and so on. So it's easy for me to slide in from that standpoint. And but I would ask everybody if they have any suggestions or any criticisms for that matter. It won't be about me, of course, but I mean, any criticisms you might have, please provide them. I will be looking forward to receiving them so that we can continue to have the great club that we have. That's really all I wanted to say at this point. As you know, I'm relatively new to the club again, but I've been learning a lot. I would mention that Jackie has a foundation meeting immediately after this meeting. So if everybody in that group can, it's funny. Maria's a little bit hot, and I think she's sticking her hand up, but she's just fanning herself. But it catches my eye. If there's nothing else that anybody would like to say, then I'll call this meeting to an end and look forward to next week, which will be a Zoom meeting. Thank you very much.
I'll do another.